Well, well, well. Barrett, you're actually here. Astounding.
Ellie! Ellie, come on. I promised we'd stop by, didn't I?
People make promises all the time, Barrett. And most folks try to avoid Gagarin, not visit it. Anyway, I'm glad you made it out here. Not exactly, but similar cases. A corporation commits a crime and needs a scapegoat, so they select someone powerless to...
The quintessential Gagarin tale.
Indeed. Yes. It was my first case as a bright-eyed, optimistic lawyer.
Well, starting your career with a defeat is rough, Ellie.
It was. But in a way, it made me more determined. It's not a resort. It's a working town run by mining corporations. You don't come here unless you need to, and you don't stay unless you have to.
Or unless you're a bright-eyed, optimistic lawyer who genuinely wants to make things better for others.
You're kind, Barrett. Yes, I suppose there's that type of person. Down to business. Perfect. What do you already know?
So we already know that Irvin worked for Hephaestus Mining Company years ago, and they blamed him for catastrophic...
Yes. He lost his case because he didn't defend himself, and we had almost no evidence without him. He was publicly blamed for the economic woes, and his accounts were seized in compensation.
His account on Gagarin specifically. It was just the amount he was...
Right. They would have taken his assets and other settlements, but by law...
I recall receiving a message asking him to appear in court.
An unfortunate reality of interplanetary legal communiques. Well, we can bring the case to a judge here if we have new evidence or a witness.
What about the evidence we found so far?
Yes, well, about that. It's just not enough. Best case scenario, we clear his name and his assets are returned, plus... Not on its own, no. It's circumstantial. In order for me to go before a judge, I'd like to have some solid evidence pertaining... The courts won't entertain a challenge to its ruling unless we're sure that something major was missed in the original trial.
What was the motive from the original trial?
We had no solid motive after our witness withdrew his testimony. Yeah, we need something major. Documentation, recordings, a witness, something.
It's been so long. How could we find anything like that?
I've thought about this a lot since the original case. The mine that Irvin worked at was shuttered in 2309. They probably still have documents relating to whatever happened. Not necessarily. To Hephaestus, it might be cheaper to run away and let the dust bury it.
Not really. All I know is that it's a Hephaestus mine from 20 years ago.
I don't have a couple decades to wait for you to search them all, so we'll need to narrow it down. That's where you come in. I don't know which mine he worked at when the incident... In theory, you could find that information on a foundry terminal. You'll need a passcode. That's the hard part. Besides the foundry records, there also might be something in Irvin's apartment. If he knew he was being framed, he might have held on to some documents there.
Dear Diary, today we created an ecological disaster and then blamed it on an off-worlder.
Funny. But you'd be surprised how often people write down things that get them into serious trouble.
Oh, do tell.
For comparison, I just finished a case against another company that was charged with illegally dumping waste. Their permits specified a site that would have cost twice as much fuel, so they sent a memo to the driver to dump it at the...
They actually wrote that down. Classic. Do you think your Argos extractor's credentials could work? That would be handy.
Barrett, You brought someone with relevant work experience?
I'm nothing if not resourceful, Ellie.
If that doesn't work, then maybe talk shop with another worker.
We just need to find the mine where Irvin worked 20-some years ago.
Let me level with you both. It might not be possible to find enough, but we may as well try, right? At least we'll know one way. If you'll excuse me, I have to get some court documents ready for this case.
The Foundry District isn't too far from here.